Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. On today's podcast, we got some interesting news stories to discuss, including the return of Team Bondi, plus some interesting observations about a new Street Fighter clothing line that the entire FGC is clowning on. But more importantly than that, I have a lot of awesome stuff to talk about yesterday's streams. Remember, yesterday was a very challenging day of Elden Ring and Street Fighter 6. So how did it go? Well, I've got very good news for you. All this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everybody. It is Saturday, the 6th of July, 2024. I'm DSP, and I welcome you all here to the show. For those who are here live, good morning. For those who are here watching on demand, well, whenever you're watching, I hope that you're having a good day. And, yeah, today will be a fun day because now we get some variety. Yesterday, we had two very challenging games on stream, and I knew it was going to kind of, like, raise my stress levels. And so, it is a good thing to break that up now with a couple of days where I'm not doing all extremely stressful content. Notably so, not that I talk about this much because I don't, but, I've got stressful stuff going on in my personal life too, behind the scenes. And it's really no reason to ever talk about what it is on stream, especially because of these weirdo stalkers on the internet who basically turn everything into a negative. And I'm not sitting here to give you a sob story or anything, but, I have stressful personal stuff going on. And then when I come to stream and it's like, man, it's time for a stressful stream. Like, in an ideal world, you sit around playing relaxing games all day, right? But they're not exactly the most entertaining. They're good to break up content and to have chill night streams where we can talk and interact and hang out. But you don't want to just have non-challenging games every single stream. Having challenge adds to the feeling of overcoming a great challenge, right? Making it be that you actually beat something that's difficult. Or failing and failing some more, but then turning all of that around. Those are feelings of accomplishment, and that adds to the quality of content. I know that from doing this for 16 years, so that's why I'm a variety streamer, and I'm not just doing one style of content all day, every day. But yesterday really piled it on, with Elden Ring followed by Street Fighter 6, Friday Night Fights with Bison exclusively at the Master Rank for the first time ever, and seeing how that was going to go and how I was going to hang. So what I'd like to do is give you an update on that, but also a couple quicker news stories today, but things that might actually get some interest going and some open discussion. I'm actually wondering what you guys will think about this story about Street Fighter apparel, all right? I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff, but, I follow the trends on social media, and this one actually popped up in the last 24 hours where a lot of people in the FGC have been chiming in about basically what they're being offered as clothing, and some people actually find it outright insulting, okay? So we're going to have a talk about this. I'm curious what you guys will think. I actually have pictures to show you. And I'm curious, like, what is the feedback? Do you actually think this is good clothing or not? Because for me, I'm 42 years old, right? You see my style of clothing on stream every day, and I like this stuff. It's either this or it's like a t-shirt, right? So I wonder what you guys think. But anyway, it should be a fun show. And then after that, we're jumping into Elden Ring again. I guess let's talk schedule first before we talk about everything else. So it's Elden Ring again today, and here's the cool thing. I started yet another new build yesterday. Yes, I changed up my build for like the 4th time during this DLC run. I think we're almost 30 hours in, and I've changed my build so much that I only usually keep it now for about 2 streams. So like 6 hours a build, and then it switches again and switches again. So now I'm doing a double hammer build, and then at the end of yesterday's stream, I got a new ability, a weapon art, that supposedly I can take off of a weapon, I could put it onto one of my hammers, and get this, it basically looks like Bison's Psycho Crusher from Street Fighter. And I know because I fought the boss yesterday that had the ability. And when he did it, I was like, wow, that looks really neat and interesting. I can't believe they actually put that into Elden Ring. And everyone's like, yeah, now you can use that on any weapon that you can add a weapon art to. I was like, seriously? That's pretty crazy. That's interesting. So, yeah, I want to try to do that today. So today's stream will be continuing on with the Elden Ring DLC, Shadowkeep. Basically, what I'm going to do is try to finish up the Shadowkeep. There's a third way to go through it. I know that sounds crazy. Yeah, the Shadowkeep is such a huge legacy dungeon. There's 3 different parts of it to go through. So obviously, I want to do that. And then once I beat that, then I want to explore. We can either go far east, which is the area that will lead you to the second fingerprint, like, monument area. Or we can head due south and go to that abyss area that we unlocked. That's full of madness. Or we could check along the river on the way, because I skipped a lot of stuff that was on the river along the way to the abyss, so we can thoroughly explore that. Or I'm pretty sure that what's going to happen is after we beat this third and final part of the Shadowkeep, it unlocks the path west, which is all the highly elevated areas with all these monuments and things like that. So we could do that. Like, really, I don't actually know what, like, the logical order is to do stuff in this DLC. So we can pretty much do whatever we want. Okay? We'll see. We'll see how it goes and how long it takes to defeat Shadowkeep first before we make any kind of crazy decisions. So, yeah, first thing today, going to try to change my weapons around so I can actually use this crazy weapon art, and then we're going to go back to Shadowkeep. Okay? And then later tonight, it is the return of Stardew Valley Chill, which I'm very excited for. You know, Stardew Valley is a great, relaxing, interactive game. We always have a great time with a fun, open discussion, but also you guys helping me with the game to learn different things. Last time we had major progress. I just built a coop and a silo. So now tonight I should, for the first time, start raising animals on there, which will be pretty cool. And go from there and see where the game takes us, because every time I play, something crazy, unexpected, and fun happens. So really excited for that tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow is React Day on Sunday, as always. First stream will be DSP versus the internet, the Eclipse React show on DSP React. The late stream will be DSP Throwback Retro React event, where we're going to continue on with Dark Souls 1, which is really fun to do last week. I just beat the Bell Tower Gargoyles, and now we're going to head on further, probably into Dark Route. So that'll be fun to re-experience that. Now, keep in mind, one big heads up. If you are a member over on DSP Reacts, you must submit your clips for the show by the end of tonight's late stream. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. There's been a couple people who, like, very last minute have posted up clips, and luckily I caught them and added them to the show last minute. But the criteria is you must post up by the end of tonight, Saturday, the day before. So please do so. If you don't, I can't guarantee that your clip's going to get onto the show. Okay? On Monday, we resume with gameplay. It'll be Street Fighter 6 and a major stream of M. Bison Master Rank. But there is no late stream on Monday night because I have to film 3 different people's private React videos this month. So I'm going to be very busy filming all of that on Monday night. And then Tuesday, we'll return to Elden Ring. And Tuesday night will likely be more Stardew Valley. And then that's my streaming week. I'm off on Wednesday. And then we start all again on Thursday of the next week. Okay? So right now, with the pacing with Elden Ring, you know, I'm playing it today and I'm playing it again Tuesday. I don't know exactly how long it is, but people are saying it's around 40 hours. I mean, I'm around 30 hours into it right now, correct? And I'm 26 hours in. And I'm doing everything that I come across. I'm not skipping any content. I'm doing the dungeons, right? I'm trying to do everything. So, yeah, in regards to the game, if it is as long as everyone says, and you do the math, you know, by the end of this week, another 6 hours, and then probably next week, another 6 hours, and then maybe we'll finish it. So probably by, like, around middle July, maybe just a little further, but around middle July, we'll finally beat the DLC. Of course, this all is going to be, you know, subjective because we don't know what's going to happen in regards to me running into anything that's like, you know, a wall that I need to climb. Right now, it hasn't really happened. Like, the only thing in this DLC that I wasn't able to do was the Dancing Lion boss, which is the first major story boss, because my build sucked, right? The magic build just wasn't cutting it for that. Once I respec, I didn't have any issue. So I'm pretty much beating most stuff relatively quickly. Yeah, yesterday I had some problems with the Scootree Guardian boss, which we'll talk about in a minute because I'm going to recap yesterday's streams. But nothing is taking too long. And I just find it funny that everyone said, oh, it's so hard. Like, no, it's not. What it is the majority of people who played Elden Ring didn't actually play it at any kind of a high level. They just kind of skirted their way through it. They summoned. They had people come and do, co-op. They had all kinds of shit going on. You know what I mean? So because of that, that's how they beat it. So now that you get to the DLC, and the DLC is forcing you to understand strategies, to learn builds, right? Throwing different stuff at you. Like, for example, yesterday, this Scootree avatar boss, which, again, we'll talk about in a moment. I think it was either Guardian or Avatar. I can't remember what it was called. My build just didn't work for it. And that's okay. There's going to be times when you play a FromSoft game and your build that you really like just doesn't work. So you have to change up your strategy. So I did, and thankfully, people in the chat were suggesting a few different things that I could easily do to adjust my strategy, and I did, and then I beat it. So imagine you're someone who played Elden Ring, and you Ash summoned your way through it. You had people coming in for boss fights, summons and stuff, which is fine. It's part of the game. There's nothing wrong with that. But now you get to Shadow of the Erdtree, and all of a sudden the difficulty bar has been raised, and you have to have more intricate knowledge of how the game is actually played to beat some of these certain bosses. Like the second boss, Rolana, I beat her in like 15 minutes. It was 6 attempts. And actually, I almost beat her early on. I just made a mistake or two. It wasn't a big deal. People were like, oh, she's harder than Melania. Like, no, she is not at all. What the hell are you talking about? You just don't know how to play the game. Like, why would you say that? So I just find that funny that people freaked out when this DLC came out 2 weeks ago. And now that I'm like 26 hours in, nothing's too crazy challenging. You know what I mean? It's just not. And I'm enjoying myself with it. That's the thing. It was funny because when I'm having these days where I'm doing 2 challenging games, I am far more feeling relaxed playing Elden Ring than I am playing Street Fighter 6. Right now, by far, Street Fighter 6 is the most stressful thing I am doing. Every time that I play Street Fighter 6, I'm getting upset. My blood pressure's going up. You know, it's like, whoa, like tense shit whenever I play Street Fighter 6, you know? So, there you go. Anyway, good stuff. Enjoying myself and looking forward to more today. But yeah, look at this idiot. I cried for an hour straight on the sunflower boss last night. I only fought the sunflower boss for about 20 minutes. So how could I have cried for an hour, you complete buffoon? Get out of my chat. What a moron. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so schedule-wise, good variety for the rest of the week, including today, 4 more streaming days. Yes, my day off is Wednesday again this week. Will my day off remain Wednesdays? That is up to be seen. Right now it is, but it doesn't mean anything. You know, it could change. I'll let you guys know. Like I said, I got stuff going on behind the scenes. Things are changing. Things are fluctuating. That's why I don't have like a really set in stone schedule right now. So, let us recap yesterday. Then I'd like to do a little bit of an update. We'll talk about this upcoming Digital Summer Party 2024. Then we'll do some news stories, and then we'll just chill for a bit before we jump into Elden Ring. Okay? Before we get to all that, please remember, guys, support the stream if you can. I'll make my living. My goal is to hit $50 on every stream. That would be amazing if we could do that sooner rather than later. Since we're getting a Psycho Crusher supposedly today in Elden Ring, it would be really cool if we hit the hat goal and I'll wear the Bison hat for Elden Ring today, which would be like, why is he wearing an M Bison hat during Elden Ring? Because I'm going to be doing Psycho Crushers today, apparently. All right, so that would be pretty neat if we do that. So please consider supporting. Anything is appreciated. Super chats, super stickers, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips. Thank you in advance for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate that. Right now, with the amount of completely fake gifted memberships recently, frustrating because people want to become a legit member and they already have one for free. YouTube is cracking down on these, but the way they're cracking down is you gift the fake membership and then at some point during the month they audit them and basically cancel them. So there's nothing I can do. It's just going to continue until they actually turn off this exploit. I don't know why they just don't turn it off, because they're fucking morons and could easily do that. But instead, they want to fix it after the fact. So congrats to everyone who's gotten gifted memberships in the last few days. That's what happened, a bunch of fake ones. And, you know, it is stressful for me because trying to maintain, you know, my business here, and essentially no one can become a member and I get no income from memberships now, at least for now. So please, if you like the content, if you've gotten a gifted membership over the last few days, please support the streams in other ways, whether a super chat or a tip. All appreciated. Thank you in advance. Okay. No, they're not closing the loophole. They're fixing it after the fact, as I explained, which is the problem. YouTube is so lazy. Rather than fix the problem, they'd rather put the Band-Aid on after, because that's the easier thing for them to do. I know that sounds dumb, but I mean, yeah, that's par for the course for YouTube. That's how they operate. Okay, so yesterday, Elden Ring stream went really good. Basically, we went through Shadowkeep twice. Went through the entire eastern area of Shadowkeep, got through this back door area, out into this base of the Scootree, and there we fought the Scootree Avatar. It was either Avatar or Guardian, which is a giant mutated sunflower plant. Okay? Now, at first I thought, oh, this is going to be really cool. Until I started actually fighting it and I realized what it was. Basically, this boss, okay, and this is a spoiler. For those who don't want to hear this spoiler, don't listen for the next 5 minutes because I'm going to be talking about Elden Ring, okay? This boss is a giant sunflower that basically does 3 styles of attacks. Number 1, a giant strike that it will usually do multiple times in a row, but then immediately retreat. So it hits you with a bunch of strikes, but then immediately goes away. Well, my build, when I started yesterday's stream, is the guard counter build, meaning I block everything with my shield, and then I guard counter it, but I can't ever guard counter because the thing hits and sticks and moves. Like, it hits and then goes away. So I can't ever guard counter. So immediately my strategy for fighting this thing is completely nerfed. I can't do anything to it because my guard counters don't work, okay? Number 2, when you're at long distance, it does this thorn attack, which is just these big rows of thorns come toward you. Now, if you have an agile build, you just roll right through it. But I'm a tank. I can't even roll, really. So I have to block it, which means I have to take some damage every time it does this. And for some odd reason, the thorns are multi-hit. Sometimes I just stand there blocking and it hits me once for a little bit. Sometimes I stand there blocking exactly the same and it goes hit, 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 and it gives me giant aggregate damage and it gives me bleed. And I'm like, I didn't do anything differently. Why is your attack hitting differently, right? So it's pretty dumb in that regard. It was a little wonky. And then every once in a while, the boss does this ginormous holy magic spell, which just rains down a bunch of holy magic lasers on you. And again, if you're nimble, you can probably just roll through the whole thing or outrun it. But I'm a tank build, so I have to block it. Well, guess what you can't do? Block this holy magic. So I get hit, I get knocked down, then I got to get up, try to move out of the way, but I usually get hit again, and there's nothing I can do. So I'm just like a sitting duck getting clobbered in this boss fight. It's 100% anti-tank build, this fight. So, of course, I had just changed to a tanky shield guard counter build a stream and a half ago, so now they have to throw a boss at me that completely destroys that build, right? Anyway, after trying to beat this thing for like 15 minutes, I was getting annoyed. I'm like, it's not even a fun boss because the boss is weak. When you hit it, you take giant chunks of damage. But guess what? You kill the boss, it dies, it respawns. You kill the boss, it dies, it respawns again. You have to beat the same boss 3 times. Why? Why not just make it one boss with a normal health bar instead of 3 of the same boss with little health bars? It's silly. It's tedious. It's boring. And I was like, man, out of all the bosses in this DLC, and there have been challenging ones, this is the worst one. It looks neat at first, but once you see what the boss is, I'm like, man, this is kind of crappy, right? So anyway, after about 15, 20 minutes of doing this and failing, all right, people were like, there's no way you're going to do it with your build because this boss is a holy magic boss. It's resistant to holy, which is your build. You got to change it up. I said, all right, I'm going to change hammers then. Let me change back to the anvil hammer. The anvil hammer has a fire element. I run up and I hit the boss in the face once. It takes more than a third of its health bar. So all you need to do against the boss is use fire. It has a weakness, fire. It's like an RPG where, oh, it's a plant, use fire. That's its weakness. Oh, God, like triple damage. Okay, so I beat it on the first fucking try using the anvil. I could have just beat it first try if I just had the anvil to begin with. So anyway, after beating that, which gave me a ridiculous amount, it was like 260,000 runes for that stupid boss too. I basically used the boss weapon. Guess what the boss weapon is? The head of the sunflower. It's a giant flower, but it acts as a hammer. So I leveled it up and I started using dual hammer build. In my left hand, the anvil. In my right hand, the sunflower head. And I'm just jumping and double hammer smashing everything in my way. And then doing double hammer swing for giant stagger. and strength damage. It was just crazy damaging. Even the guys that are supposed to be poise boys are getting rocked by these double hammer stance. So I had to take off the armor and put on lighter armor to use the double hammer stance, but it was fun, and I used that basically for the rest of the stream. So we basically went back to the main area of Shadowkeep, and we went up this stairwell, fought a bunch of soldiers, did some optional stuff, and I got to a point where it was the entrance of the storeroom, and I was like, oh, but I already have a storeroom entrance from last stream that's in the back. So I was like, should I go through the main way or should I go through the back way? Let's go through the back way because we already unlocked it. Let's see what that is. So I went to the back way, and the back way basically has you climb straight up and start doing all this stuff way high up, but then you have to go back down. And as I was doing it, I was like, this is very reminiscent of Lothric Castle or the Archives in Dark Souls games. It felt so much like that as I was doing it. So I basically went through there, big dungeon, giant dungeon, pretty fun. And then we got to the boss, which was a guy riding a giant boar called Commander Gaius. And he was pretty cool, I would say. He had some really unique attacks. This is the guy that actually had the Psycho Crusher. He jumps in the air, and he starts spinning, and he slams down as a Psycho Crusher. It looks just like Psycho Crusher from Street Fighter. I was like, holy shit, he has Psycho Crusher. So we beat him, and I got his weapon, and on the weapon has the weapon art, but people are like, unlike other boss weapons, this is, I guess, considered a standard weapon, and you can remove the weapon art and put it on your own standard weapon. And I was like, what? So people are like, yeah, put that on your Holy Hammer that you were using previously, and then you could have the Anvil and the Holy Hammer double slamming, and then you do Psycho Crushers as well. I was like, seriously? So we were going to build that, but we had a tiny bit of extra time, and I rode north. And I actually found this area with an insane amount of Scootree fragment pieces. I don't know why they were all there. Now, other things I did yesterday, I unlocked an eastern path that now allows us to go all the way to the east of the map, which is going to take us to that other fingerprint area. And I fought not one, but 2 Tree Sentinel bosses that were standing their guard. So that was neat. And then we went further south. There was a secret exit in the Shadowkeep that lets you go through the sewers. It lets you go to a river. You go all the way down this river. Then you get to a secret catacombs. You go through this secret catacombs and you fight this unique boss called the Inquisitor. Really like that boss. He was a very unique magic boss. And then you get to the area of the map you have not seen yet, the Abyss. And the entire thing is dark with these thorns and madness. Everything there is crazy. There's crazy animals, crazy humans. Everyone's just nuts and using the madness magic. You know, the Frenzied Flame from the base game. They all have it. So there's got to be some lore behind that. But I don't know what it is. And I was like, ooh, I can't actually wait to figure this out. But we got to do other stuff. I want to go back and I want to do the rest of Shadowkeep first. Okay? The one says, what did you think of the Gaius fight? Many hated how he was broken with some attacks being undodgeable. Were any attacks undodgeable? The only attack that I saw that looked kind of cheap, he has gravity magic. And so he shoots these gravity magic balls out and they suck you in. But I just started running the opposite direction and I got far enough away that they didn't grab me. But one time they did. One time they were sucking me in and all of a sudden exploded and did like giant damage. The second time I saw him use it, I ran away. Outside of that, I'm pretty sure I was able to dodge a lot of the stuff. I mean, I got hit, but I don't know if it was because it was undodgeable. You know, I have no idea. So, anyway, it was a great Elden Ring stream yesterday and I can't wait for more. Now, the most notable thing that happened yesterday was Friday Night Fights, and here's why. Friday Night Fights last night was all M. Bison. I did 3 or 4 warm-up matches, I think, in casual play. And then I went online for master rank matches for about 2 hours, okay? Last night was my best session ever of Street Fighter 6. Meaning, it was the highest level matches. I fought the best opponents I've ever faced before. Besides, arguably, when I faced off against Nephew and Snake Eyes in single matches, I was playing much better people at a much higher level. And let me tell you, I was hanging. In fact, not only was I hanging, I was winning. Are you ready for these results? So, excuse me. In casual play, I had 6 wins and 5 losses. Then I went into master ranked matches. 22 wins, 15 losses, 59% win rate in master. I started off at like 1,503 master ranking points. At the end of the night, I was at 1,564. I gained points. And the thing was, I was on a streak. I was going good. I was going strong. If I kept playing, I feel like I would have kept doing that. And I actually was beating people above me in points, like people who were in the 1600s. I was beating them. I think I played someone in the 1700s, but I don't remember that match off the top of my head. But yeah, I was playing these people and I was kicking their butts. Basically, Bison, he's clicking with me. He's my style of character. Where yes, you could keep pressure, you could try for mix-ups, you could try for interesting stuff, but then he also can react to things. He can look for you to make the mistake. Like if you jump, juggle you, air juggle for giant damage. That's the kind of gameplay I like. It's not just me playing a pattern, it's me looking for the opportunity, looking for the hole in your game plan, looking for the mistake, and then capitalizing on that mistake and getting a giant punish. That's the kind of gameplay I like. Not, I literally just do the same flowchart over and over and over, and eventually it hits and I win. That's mind-nauseatingly bad gameplay for fighting games, and that's what a lot of people do. So, I had a great time, okay? Immediately, all of my haters are pissy. They're like, oh, now we can't enjoy his Street Fighter anymore because he's actually winning, right? The funny part about this is, the entire time that I've played Street Fighter 6, I've arguably played mid to low tier characters, right? Dhalsim, Lily, Honda, Zangief are all arguably mid to low tier, all right? Blanca, it can be argued, is upper mid tier, lower top tier. He's definitely not top tier, but he's around there. So it's funny because when I try to play at a high level, I end up losing a lot, and I say, man, these characters just can't hang with the top tiers. And then everyone said, well, then, why don't you just prove what you're saying? Why don't you pick a top tier character and show us that you're so good that you could actually do well if you pick a top tier? So I did, and I am. And that's what pisses them off, because these idiotic haters don't ever want to believe that I can be good at fighting games. They actually want to have their brainwashed feelings in their heads that I suck at every game, and I couldn't possibly excel at one. So now here I am playing a top tier character, had a whole night of ranked gameplay, and I hung. I won more than I lost. I had really great matches. I was outplaying people. I was tricking them. I was capitalizing. I was locking them down. I was getting ginormous corner combo damage, which is what you want to do with Bison. Here's what I can say. I watched back some of it. I didn't watch back all of it. I watched back some of the footage. Some of it is totally my fault. When I rage and there's a mistake, for example, there was a Zangief. He was trying to do a wake up level 2 super to catch me. He did not. I blocked it. I said, I'm going to punish this now. I do low medium punch, and it whiffs. I'm literally standing right next to Zangief after having blocked his entire tornado spin level 2 super, and the fucking thing whiffed. And I'm like, wow, so they actually push you further away than it looks. You can't punish like that. You have to do a very long reaching move, or you have to do like a drive rush to actually punish the level 2 super. But in the heat of the moment, I got upset. All right, I did. I was like, this is bullshit. The game dropped my input. And then I watched the footage back, and I was like, no, that's not the case. The game is just being stupid, that someone could do an entire super next to you, and it pushes you away when you can't punish. Like, why does it do that? That's really dumb. It should be you punish when they fuck up. So anyway, definitely some of it was like that. But man, let me tell you, there was some real nonsensical bullshit. For example, I'm M. Bison, and I'm doing a combo. Jab, jab, scissor kick. I go, jab, jab, level 1 super. What? To do level 1 super, you have to do 2 full quarter circles forward and kick. I was literally jab, jab, quarter circle forward, kick. And it gave me a super. What the fuck? What? No, really, what the fuck? That can't even be attributed to the joystick. That's the netcode being shitty, and the game having such lax inputs that the netcode is predicting what I'm inputting and mispredicting, and giving me the wrong move. That is awful, because that costs you the round. That's a level 1 super they can easily punish, and I did. I had a giant punish after. Like, I didn't input that. The game is fucking stupid. Why would it do that? Here's another thing. I'm in the corner with M. Bison. Someone else is M. Bison. They jump and they do the head stomp. Okay, the head stomp caught me. All right, what's the first thing you do after a head stomp? You block high. Why? Because the only follow-up Bison can do is an aerial punch. That's a high punch. So it has to be like that. I have to block. So I block high. Hits me anyway. What? So now they get a giant free combo. The fuck is that? And the worst one by all, the entire night. Fight. Cammy drive rushes. I down back. She presses kick, hits me anyway. Full free combo at the beginning of the round. The fuck is this? This is supposed to be competitive online play, but it's literally dropping shit so often that it makes me lose entire rounds and situations. It's just a joke. And it's sad because some of the fights are great. And I'm playing and I'm learning and I'm actually getting ideas on matchup and like what works, what doesn't. First time ever. You know, that's the thing. When you're playing better players and they don't do scrubby pattern bullshit, you learn. But then you get the scrub player who's only there because they play the pattern, because the online code supports their play, not yours. And it's dropped. What the fuck is going on? Why are you dropping my inputs so much? So it gets very frustrating. And that's what I mean. Like, I get very, very heated when I'm playing the game and it's a very competitive match and I'm hyper focused and my blood pressure's up. And then all of a sudden, all my moves start dropping. It's like, I didn't fucking do half this shit. But I get punished because this is what people want in modern netcode. Instead of having netcode where there's a little bit of delay, but all your moves come out, they want no delay, but half your moves don't come out. Then it looks pretty for your stream, so people will watch and fucking support, but your play is shit. I just don't get that. I would much rather have all my fucking inputs come out. Really, I would. So anyway, that stream last night was the best I've ever done. Seriously, it's the absolute best I've ever played in Street Fighter 6. I was constantly winning. I got a bunch of rank points built up. It was great progress. I actually cannot wait to play again on Monday because I'm learning so well. And of course, I'll watch more videos or whatever, try to learn more strat. What's happening now is the muscle memory starting to come into effect. I basically have the drive rush combo down, but the problem is now the one I keep screwing up is when I hit with low medium kick and I drive rush. Or drive cancel. I keep screwing this up. I keep doing crouching medium instead of standing medium punch, and that doesn't combo. You get the punch, and it stops comboing after that. I'm like, oh, fuck. I keep fucking that up badly. I need to get the right muscle memory down. Once I get the muscle memory down for all of his combos, and I don't drop any, now the sky's the limit. But I need to get to that point, and that's my problem is I'm not there yet. I'm still playing a little sloppy. But I did really well for my first All-Master night. The trolls were fucking crying about it. They were so fucking upset that I'm doing good. And just to give you the evidence of what I'm saying, take a look at the videos. Right now, go ahead and take a look at the videos from last night. All right? Here they are. They're parts, let's see, 13 and 14 of the playlist. One of them doesn't even have 300 views, and the other one just has over 300 views. But it's my best gameplay I've ever put out of Street Fighter 6. Half the people or more who watch me play Street Fighter 6 are these fucking rage-craving idiots. These fucking mouth-drooling loser morons who all they want to do is see me fail. They don't care about me persevering. They just want to see me rage and fail. They think it's funny. So all of a sudden I do a stream where I'm doing incredibly well and doing pretty much great gameplay, winning every set, getting points constantly. Oh, we don't want to watch that. Right? So, too bad. Right? Too bad. I'm going to continue to play well because some people, it's hilarious. People are, oh, so you're going to change characters now, right? No. No, I'm not. I'm going to continue to play with Bison, get better, and keep leveling him up. That's the whole idea. When you find a character that clicks, okay? They click, and things are working well, and you're learning, and you're improving your game, you don't go back to another character. You don't run back to do something different. I'm going to continue to play with Bison for now. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to endlessly play Bison and never play another character in Street Fighter 6. I'm saying that for now, absolutely, I want to keep playing this character, okay? So I'm excited, right, for this, for more Bison, to get better with this character, and to continue to climb the ranks of Master. I want to play better matches, and that's the thing. I actually got some better matches. It wasn't all scrubs last night. I was like, oh, there's actually some good players to play. If I keep climbing the ranks, I'll play better players, which is the whole point of trying to get better at competitive Street Fighter, okay? So, I'm excited for more on Monday. I hope that you guys will join me. And if you didn't see the stream last night and you want to see my absolute best Street Fighter gameplay of all time in Street Fighter 6, watch last night's stream. Like, that is the culmination of me learning the game and playing better and doing good stuff. I hope that you'll give it a look. And I hope to continue to improve. Okay? Cool. All right. So we're through all of that. We have a few things to talk about, but I guess I just want to give everyone a reminder. We have now figured out what's going to happen coming up. DSP's DSP. Last year we did DSP's Digital Summer Party. Well, we're going to do it again. It's going to be DSP's DSP 2024. All right? So what are we going to do during this event? Well, we're going to hang out. It's going to be a marathon-style event. We're going to do a variety of content. I'm debating what I should be done, but I'm thinking some gameplay could be things such as a chill Stardew Valley segment. Maybe doing some Nintendo World Championships. That's a game that comes out in about a week and a half. It's a challenge run game where it's all these classic Nintendo games put together into these challenge runs for like speed and points and things like that. That could be neat to see if I could do those or not. I'm debating doing a tier maker for the first time in like 7 months because we haven't done one in so long, and so we could think of something summertime related, perhaps. Maybe rank like summertime American comfort foods and stuff like that against each other. Maybe. There'll be some booze. There'll be some food. You know, it'll be a fun, relaxing marathon style thing that will happen. When? Probably late July, early August. We haven't solidified the date yet. We'll talk a little bit more, maybe another week, and then we'll solidify the date so we can really start planning it. But that's coming up. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for more. And if you have any suggestions for what we should be doing during the Digital Summer Party, be sure to share, because I'm all ears on suggestions. Maybe we should get some good, cool things going. Okay? Okay. Now, it's time for my favorite segment and your favorite segment and everyone's favorite segment here. It's time for a little bit of DSP news. Although today's news is going to be very different. Excuse me. Today's news is going to be very different from the norm. It's not like I'm covering a bunch of major stuff or anything like that. It's more like little stories here or there, stuff like that. So I have two today, two kind of interesting follow-up stories for you guys. Okay, number one, I'm currently releasing my remastered edition of my original run in LA Noire from 2011 over on the DSP Throwback channel. Correct? There you go. Every other day or so, we got a new part going live. Currently, we're like 20-some parts in, but I think we're just a little bit more than halfway through the game. The game is great, by the way. LA Noire is such an outstanding game. Well-written plot, really interesting plot. And it's just been a great time. You know, it really is a great game, and it's been great re-experiencing that original run now with the upgraded visuals, audio, and the like. So, the reason I bring this up is because the original developers of LA Noire, which originally their name was called Team Bondi, okay? Now, at the time LA Noire was in development, there was all this information, and people were like, oh, Team Bondi, yeah, they're using this revolutionary technology. They're doing this face scan, mocap, and that's why the characters look so realistic. That's why the interviews, when you're doing these interrogations, why it looks so realistic. It looks like photorealistic, like a movie, like two actors working. And at that time, that was revolutionary. Today, of course, we do have more stuff like that, more common, but this was 13 years ago, okay? So I remember hearing all about Team Bondi and all this unique stuff they're doing, and they would show people in the mocap stuff and everything. And the game comes out, and it does well. Like, it sells pretty darn good. And everyone's like, wow, this game is getting praise. It was well done. Investigations are fun. The plot is interesting. Then all of a sudden you hear Team Bondi closes. And you're like, wait, what? Why would Team Bondi close after the release of a hit game? And you come to find out, apparently, there was all these issues during the development cycle between Rockstar and Team Bondi. Like, Rockstar was, I guess, supposedly giving them unrealistic expectations and basically forcing crunch and bad culture in order to get the game out. And after the game came out, the team just folded. Like, they couldn't handle it anymore. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing all this up, you're like, here we are 13 years later. We've had nothing from these guys, it sucks because the game they made was amazing, right? Well, guess what? The original developers of LA Noire are reportedly now working on a brand new project, okay? So, supposedly this game will be called Soden House. Listen to this. It's been seemingly revealed on Instagram by an Australian composer and performer. All right? Interesting. Right? Interesting. How would we know this? I guess this person is composing music for the game, and they leaked or somehow were decided to be the first person to talk about it. It's really weird. Here's what they put on their Instagram, okay? From the creators of LA Noire comes Soden House, a psychological thriller set in 1940s LA that will have you questioning your sanity. Garbett posted alongside a video of the music that is being recorded for the game. Okay? So, the title Soden House is actually a house that was owned by a Dr. George Hodel. He was actually one of the people suspected to be the Black Dahlia murderer. Okay? It's very interesting. The Black Dahlia, for those who don't know, was a murder victim who supposedly people thought that the person who committed that murder was a serial murderer. And it actually is one of the main focal story points of LA Noire. It's one of the main cases that you follow throughout the game of LA Noire. Okay, continuing on. So supposedly, Hodel's son claimed that the first, I guess the Black Dahlia victim, Elizabeth Short, was murdered in that house called Soden House. So, Team Bondi is no more, but apparently a lot of the former team members made a new game dev team called Video Games Deluxe. I didn't know this. The studio only worked on one game called LA Noire: The VR Case Files. Okay, and I don't know what that is. I mean, I never heard of LA Noire being in VR. I think LA Noire actually would work in VR, at least as long as you don't have to do the driving segments. But if you were like, excuse me, if you were exploring the crime scenes in VR, right? Like, oh, look, what's this? You pick it up, you look at it. Could this be evidence? You look around, oh, there's a blood splatter on it. It's a piece of evidence, right? So I think that would be pretty neat as a VR game, but I've never heard about that. I never played it. I don't follow VR, so I wasn't aware that this even existed. Okay? And the thing is, like, obviously that would never work for the open world parts. Having to wander the city, probably, because it would be too big of a game for VR, right? But I bet you could drive, free roam, etc. A lot of it was jank, but it was great for the time, says Banana Milk Tea. Yeah, but this is 2020. This is not a long time ago. There were parts of the original game on PSVR 1 years ago. Oh, okay. It was PSVR 1. It was only parts of the game. Gotcha. I think that would work. I actually think that would be a fascinating thing to play. That's a game that probably would be fun to be experienced in the perspective of Cole Phelps doing the investigations, right? So anyway, so here's what this says. Having finished the critically well-received LA Noire VR case files, we are now gearing up for a new project, a AAA open-world title in VR for Rockstar. 2020 marks our 7th year of working exclusively for Rockstar in Sydney, blah, blah, blah. So this new game is their new one, and it's weird because there was no official announcement. The only thing that we know about it is this post from an Australian, like, composer guy who says he's making the music for it. I almost feel like he jumped the gun, like he wasn't aware that there was no official announcement yet. And then he posted it up, and now I wonder if he's going to get in trouble for it. It sounds like he spilled the beans. Listen, if they did a noir-style game during the time period, you know, with the Black Dahlia murders, and it's in LA 1940s. They did a great job with LA Noire. I think that they would do a great job with another game in that same setting. So I'm actually excited to see what they come up with in this regard. Okay. All right. So we have one more piece of news today. although I don't know if it's necessarily news, but it is some commentary that's going on in the Street Fighter community. You know, I follow Street Fighter as one of the trends on X, and I try to stay in line with all the stuff that's going on. And there's something's happened in the last 24 hours that I'm finding fascinating. So, as you know, if you've been following Street Fighter 6, for one really weird reason, and I don't really get it, okay? Capcom decided they wanted to have a more urban approach to this game. The game is full of graffiti or street art, right? I mean, you have a character, Kimberly, who literally is a person who does graffiti during her gameplay. When you do a drive impact move, there's giant colorful streaks across the screen, right, that look like street art. The music in the game, right, is very, very one style. And what I mean by that is a lot of little hip-hop beats and things like that, again, of one style. And for whatever reason, that's what they thought was going to click with Street Fighter 6. Now, I think a lot of people just ignore that. They're like, we don't really care what the stylized bullshit is. We just want the game. The core gameplay is great. The mechanics are sound. The graphics are great. So you don't really care what the style is of the game, right? If you don't like that style, no big deal. Ignore it. But there's been some cases, for example, with the music. For a whole year, you were forced to listen to that soundtrack, and no one really liked it. There's very few people who think, oh, yeah, that Street Fighter 6 soundtrack, that really slaps, man. It's really great. I love it. Not really. Most people are like, it's very generic. It's not iconic. There's no songs in Street Fighter 6 that stood out that made you feel like, oh, this is outstanding. This is great. This is memorable. It sticks in my head. Like, out of all the songs, probably only Minogue's song, like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, bum-bum-bum-bum-bum, like, that stuck in my head. I probably can't even remember any other songs from the soundtrack, right? The funny part is, Capcom refused to acknowledge that. They sold the Street Fighter 6 soundtrack on a record, what do they call LP or whatever, for like $80. Who the fuck bought it? No one likes the soundtrack. Why are you selling it on an outdated physical hipster medium for $80? Are you stupid? But anyway, now some of these things are being fixed, correct? Now we have, the ability to do your own soundtrack. You can get the older Street Fighter themes and put them in. And let's be honest, since that update hit, and I put in all the old Street Fighter themes, isn't it not like way, way better? I feel like our gameplay experiences, our streams have been way better since we've had the better soundtrack, okay? So, anyway, going along with this same style, all right, yesterday it was announced, and by the way, to do this, I have to go back to my main screen. I can't have the new screen because this is where I can pull up the pictures. It was announced a new clothing line for Street Fighter 6 in conjunction with this Shibori Threads company, all right? There's going to be new street-style wear that's going to be available for pre-order and sale that's officially branded to Street Fighter 6. And it's going to feature characters Ryu, Chun-Li, Guile, Luke, Jamie, and apparently there's going to be more than that in the future, all right? So, I'm just showing you what before I make a single comment, I'm just showing you what the wear looks like. Okay, so here it is. Now, I'll actually do a close-up. So here's Ryu. Okay. So this clothing is described by this business as hand-dyed. Okay? Hand-dyed clothing. That's what it says. Okay? That's Ryu. Let me go ahead and show you Luke, okay? So there's two examples of the clothing, all right? So you might say, so what is this? Okay? So it's a hoodie, and on the hoodie, it's the character art on the chest, and then there's sweatpants, and the sweatpants basically have like the words, like I guess the name of the character, and stuff like that. Okay, let's go back to the Ryu one. I think the Ryu one looks a little better because you can see the hood. See that? Now, can I be honest with you? I actually don't think it's like hideously ugly or anything like that at all. Like, there's definitely worse than that, right? There's definitely much, much worse than this. But it's when you think, oh, I want a really nice collectible, I want something that's like themed to Street Fighter 6, is this the first thing that you would think of? Because Bookworm said, I didn't want to say it yet, but Bookworm just said it in the chat. Okay, here's what Bookworm just said. He said, it's probably cool if you're like 12 or 13 years old. Do you know what this looks like? This is the kind of clothing that you would go to like Target or Walmart or one of those kids' clothing stores in the mall. And this would be what they're selling for children. I'm not exaggerating. Like, this is the kind of clothes they sell in those stores. A hoodie that looks like there's color splashed all over it. Pants with like text and a logo and some color splashed all over it. And to be quite frank, what this looks like is like it's a higher quality, a higher idea of tie-dye. Do you know what tie-dye is? It was all the rage in the 60s and 70s. And this is just not that stuff, but it's the same concept. It's hand-colored areas of the clothing. It's not uniform. Every piece might be a little unique because they're all done a little bit differently. Just like tie-dye, they're not all the same. They're all different, right? So I kind of get it. But at the same time, like Bookworm just said, so that's really cool for a 12 to 13-year-old. So now it's time to actually tell you the prices. Are you ready for this? That hoodie, that Ryu hoodie that you're looking at right there, is $75 US. Hold on. I want to make sure that you understand what I just said. Are you ready? Oops. $75 US. 75. How you do 7? You go, no. 7? I can't do it. 7. No, I did it backwards. 5. Forget it. I can't do it. I can't do numbers with my hands. I can't do it. Anyway, $75 for that hoodie. Okay? Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. That's the price. Guess how much those sweatpants cost? The sweatpants basically are just those pants with the Street Fighter 6 logo on it. $65 for the sweatpants. So if you want that outfit right there, that is $140 plus tax for that Street Fighter 6 outfit. Now, the difference here is if you're saying, oh, well, it's for children would like that. No, parents are not going to spend $140 on that outfit for their small child. Nor would the small child even understand what that is. You could get something that looks just like this at Target or Walmart for probably around 30 to 40 bucks. So why would you spend 140? Now, the other thing that I want to call out, all right? If you take a look, let's look at the whole line again, all right? Oh, my mouse is really starting to anger me. It doesn't work very well. That's not the, okay. If you take a look at all of them, in fact, you know what? I'll blow them up a little bit so we can see them a little better. They're going to be blurry, though. Okay? So that's supposed to be all 4 of them. Now, do you notice something? They're all uniform, meaning they're all just the very standard Street Fighter 6 character art on the middle of the hoodie with a little bit of, again, kind of like street text. I don't even know how it's written there. I can't really tell. But basically, here's the thing that I have issue with, okay? It's not even the fact that it's that expensive. It's that if you're going to have something that expensive, it should be unique. So what's unique about that clothing? I guess what's unique is, boy, this mouse is really fighting me. I'm having an issue with the show today because the mouse is not working. What's unique is the colors. Apparently those colors are not uniform. Like, since they're hand-dyed, hand-colored, every one is unique. It'll look a little different, okay? That I understand. But what should be unique is the art. If you're going to pay a premium price for a piece of clothing, it should have something unique on it to that clothing. If this was a new piece of art of Ryu that is not available on any other clothing, it would be maybe worth the price. That's the standard Street Fighter 6 profile picture of Ryu. That's been out for 2 years. That's been all over the internet. It's the most generic picture of Ryu possible. They have nothing original or creative on this piece of clothing. So that's what I don't understand. Like, if you were going to make this shirt and say it's worth $75, put something unique on it besides the coloring, right? So, by the way, I'm not trying to clown on this, but the FGC absolutely is. And it's funny because, again, the FGC is supposed to be the target audience for this. And they're all like, are you kidding me? Why can't we get good clothing? Why can't we get reasonably priced clothing? Why don't they understand that we don't want to stand around looking like small children wearing clothing because we're Street Fighter players? I mean, let's be honest. Take a look at the Street Fighter community and the league, right? These big leagues and stuff. The people are in jerseys. They look professional. They're dressed nicely because they're there to be serious, to play at a high level. You know what I mean? Why would this be what you're trying to sell people who like Street Fighter when the top players don't even look like that? They look way more professional and nice than that. You know what I'm saying? This looks to me like loungewear. This is something you wear around your house when you're relaxing at home or you're going to sleep at night. That's when you wear this, right? So why would you spend $140 for this? It doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. It's stupid. And again, put something on the shirt that's unique, not the standard art that you could have seen for 2 straight years since the announcement of Street Fighter 6. Didn't even put effort into putting unique art on it that you would want to get, right? It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense at all. So the FGC is actually upset. They're clowning on it. They're like, this is stupid. Like, we would love to have nice things for our community, you know, but it looks like this is what we get. We get these overpriced, shameless cash-ins with no soul whatsoever, you know, and like, who would want that? So I'm honest. What do you guys think? Okay. What do you guys think? I'm curious. What are your thoughts? Does anyone have any particular thoughts about it? Do you think that's really ugly? Do you think it's not so bad? Would you actually buy and wear that? Do you think that that's something good? I would love your opinions on this because, you know, me, I don't really know. I don't have my fingers to the pulse of youth playing fighting games. What do you guys think? Abdullah says Elon Musk would instantly grab all 4 of them. Of course. I bet he already has them. The character art is not it. It's very lazy, says Madara. That's what I'm saying. The art, if the art was unique or eye-catching or interesting, maybe it would be worth the money. The art's the same art everyone has had for 2 years. They didn't even put effort into it. It's just like, I'll just take that stock art we already seen and slap it on a shirt and sell it for a bunch of money. Like, what the fuck? Lucky Gremlin says, it is ugly. It does look like it's just for a rich kid. Aaron says, not my kind of clothing, regardless of the art. I'm just not into hoodies and sweatpants. And fair enough. Like, I think that stuff I would not wear out. I would totally wear that stuff in my house to relax. Sure, I would. It looks comfortable, right? It looks like comfortable clothing. It doesn't look terrible. But, like, I wouldn't pay $140 to wear it, to buy it and wear it outside. You know? Like, I just don't get it. Jay Stan says, clothes don't make the gamer. A bag of chips and a good controller does. Fed Rogers says, I think it's ugly, but the price doesn't surprise. Licensed merch are always in this price range. I don't know. Like, for example, a couple years ago, I did buy a Back to the Future t-shirt that was a limited run, only available at that time piece of merch. It was like $20. Maybe it was $25 for a t-shirt. And I understand it's a hoodie, but $75 for that hoodie? I don't understand. Really? Aaron says, I see hoodies like this all the time. People wear them at concerts and the like. The pricing isn't even that different from this one. Oh my God. Seriously? I don't know, man. I don't know. You know me. I'm a normal dude. I wear t-shirts. I've been wearing button-down shirts now for a year. I really like these. I think they're comfortable and they look nice. I I don't break the bank when I shop. I always basically skimp. I go to the discount stores, the resellers. That's where I get my clothes from. I wear my shit till it's worn the fuck out and has holes in it. Like, that's how the kind of person I am. I mean, that's why I'm telling you my mouse is broken, because I freaking don't change out my equipment. So I've been using this mouse for like a decade and it's all worn out. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm just a different generation than what people like today. Because to me, I look at that, I'm like, you would pay $140? I mean, why not just go to Target, spend $40, and take the other $100 and do things with it, like get a gourmet meal, right? Or I don't know, buy Street Fighter 6. I don't know. Like, what else would you do? Spend $40 on the clothes at the regular store, and then go buy a statue of your favorite Street Fighter character for $100 that's available or something, right? It's so weird. I used to sell hoodies. When I had my Teespring, I had hoodies, and I sold them for what, $30? I think it was 35. I didn't mark them up to 70 fucking $5 like an asshole. All right. Well, guys, that's what I got for today's show. All right. Thanks for hanging out now. Again, guys, I said this earlier. I'll say it again. Please support the stream today. All right. And thank you to those who do. The goal is $50. So far, we have no contributions whatsoever. This would normally be where I do my shout out segment, but we got no contributions. So anything is appreciated today. But in the meantime, let's open it up to Q&A. If you guys want to ask me a question, please tag me in the chat. And we'll do a little bit of back and forth Q&A and any shout outs that come in, and then we'll get set up for Elden Ring. Okay? Okay, what do you guys want to chat about today? What's my favorite boss so far in the Elden Ring DLC? Bale. Bale is incredibly cool looking. It's not necessarily the mechanics of the boss, just the boss looks so insanely good, right? And it has lore elements to it that I really enjoyed. So that would be my favorite DLC boss so far. Or after let me think hard. Rolana was really fun. I like the idea of a boss that has two different elements and cool attacks that she does with those swords. I thought that was cool too. So there you go. Ooh, excuse me. Do I own any suits? Yes, I own. Well, I own like a nice button-down shirt, a tie, a suit jacket. I don't own like a formal suit that came together. I have the pants, the suit jacket. It's what, you know, I always have that just in case. I wore it to my wedding. Uh, and I think I wore it. I think I bought it like 15 years ago to go to someone else's wedding that I ended up not attending or something like that, if I remember correctly. And it just sat around. That's what I ended up, wearing to my own wedding. So, Manara, the DLC is not mega hard for me at all. He says, you still liking the DLC? Is it still mega hard for you personally? No, it's not. It's not mega hard for me at all. There's some challenge to it, but for the most part, I've been not running into any walls or things that have been sticking or there's been no challenge that's taken too long for me to overcome. I haven't gotten stuck on anything for a significant amount of time. The longest was the first boss, the Dancing Lion, and once I respec, then I beat it fairly easily. So, yeah, I really haven't run into anything yet. Okay. Do I go to any cool retro gaming stores over that way in Washington? No. No, because I don't have a desire to buy retro games. I already I have retro games I'd like to sell in my closet. I don't have the desire to have any kind of a collection in my house. Been there, done that. Now stuff just sits around collecting dust. I don't really want retro games. So, no, Kat stopped playing Destiny weeks ago. She only played it for a couple of days and then she dropped it. What's up, Jade? How you doing? Welcome. I've heard of DK Oldies. That's the store that's controversial, and there's people say that they scam with their prices and stuff and shit like that, I think. Another Crab's Treasure or Elden Ring so far? I don't know what you mean. You mean Elden Ring DLC? They're different. They're both great games. Like Another Crab's Treasure did a lot of things differently. It was kind of a hybrid game. And I liked it for what it did. A lot of creative things in the world and everything. I thought that they did really neatly. So, you know, it was a great game. But, I mean, this DLC is doing well, too. Right? Dang, Dan, you are completely wrong. And if you keep repeating misinformation in the chat, I will remove you from the chat. Literally everything you just said is wrong. You've walked on Bondi Beach. It's a real beach in Australia. Oh, that's cool. If FromSoft buffed Magic, would I go back to it, or do I prefer my new playstyle? It's not that I prefer anything. It's just, you know, I did an entire Magic run. I tried starting the DLC with the Magic. It worked for a bit, but then you get bored. I want to change it up. So I'm enjoying doing it a little differently now. I mean, since I started Magic build, right? Then I went to two-handing hammer build, like stagger build, basically. Then I went to the shield mace guard counter build, which is completely different. It's tank guard counter build, played completely differently from the stagger build. And now I'm doing dual hammer build, which is even more of a stagger build. It's like a doubling down on the stagger mechanic, but you don't rely on poise as much. It's more about getting the hits in. You need to dodge around and stuff. It's a little different. So that's 4 different builds I've used since I started the DLC. And each one is good. It's just that I feel like there's no one build that's universally good for this DLC. I do feel like you need to jump around in order to succeed. Like I said, the guard counter build was working beautifully. It completely destroyed the Golden Hippo boss. The Golden Hippo boss had no chance against me. Then I fight the Scootree avatar, and the goddamn thing can't even be hit by a guard counter. Like, it misses. You can't even strike the thing. So it's like, now what do I do, right? So you got to rethink what you're doing. Jasper Kitty is good. Thank you for asking. He's fine. What other games am I looking forward to coming out this year? Oh my god, you really want me to look at the list? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Star Wars Outlaws has potential to be really good. It might not be, but that's interesting to me. The Astrobot game is probably going to be really good. I love the Astrobot demo game that was on PS5 at launch, and this is a full-fledged game, so it's probably going to be great. Let's see. The Silent Hill 2 remake, right up my alley. I love horror. I love the Silent Hill franchise. To see it be remade is probably going to be great. Metaphor, although it's uncertain if I even get to play it, but I definitely think that Metaphor will be a great RPG for this year. Honestly, Black Ops 6, and here's why. Not so much because it's Black Ops 6, but because this is the first time ever I'm going to be able to play it at 120 hertz, possibly 120 frames per second on my Xbox. I've never played an FPS like that before, and already I've done well at Call of Duty. Now imagine me having the best frame rate and being able to respond even faster. I think that would be pretty cool. So I'm not looking forward to it just on the sake of seeing how it performs, okay? Avowed, although we don't have a release date for it. Microsoft Flight Sim, yeah. Flight Sim was such a good game when we played it years ago. Such a chill, fun game. I'm actually looking forward to that a lot. And another game with no release date, but the next Dragon Age, which is hopefully good because I love the Dragon Age franchise. Did I see where the Lighthouse DLC for Alan Wake 2 is coming out in October? No, I don't know what that means. Are you saying that there is a DLC for Alan Wake called The Lighthouse that's coming out in October? Because that's weird, because there was a Lighthouse DLC for Alan Wake 1. So I don't know why there'd be another one for Alan Wake 2. That's a little odd. What about Black Myth Wukong? It could be good. It might not be. I really don't feel like we've seen enough hands-on gameplay to make a determination, and I think that might be intentional. Am I interested in it? Yes. Do I have high hopes for it that's going to be like the best game ever? No. I'm kind of more of a, I want to be conservative with my expectations, so that way I'm not disappointed. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than disappointed, right? It's Lake House DLC, and it is coming out in October. Is that true? Well, then I'm gonna play it. I own the pack, the expansion pack. I will play it. Okay, guys, anything else? And by the way, still nothing to shout out. So that's why I haven't shouted anything out. There's been no contributions yet. When am I going back to Hades? When people deem it worthy to continue. I was really enjoying Hades. I was having an absolutely great time with Hades 2. That is Hades 2. And everyone yelled at me. Don't play it now. We like the game, but don't play it now. It's not done. Wait for it to be finished and then go back. So I stopped playing. Like, the attendance was waning. Like, people were literally outright telling me, don't play it now, even though I liked it. So I got to do what my audience wants. I have to give the people what they want, right? It's a shame, but I got to give the people what they want. If they say don't play it now, then I wait, right? When am I going back to Riven? Next week, Thursday. Yeah, it's just this week's a little thrown off because Monday night I'm not doing a stream because I have to do the private patron react videos. So I'm going to be doing Stardew Valley Tuesday night and then Riven Thursday night when I come back from break. It would have been like Riven and Stardew Monday, Tuesday, but I don't have the stream on Monday. Okay? And I love Riven. I can't wait to go back to it. I think Riven Remastered has been a great playthrough. Nope, I haven't seen the boys' latest episode. Like I said, I think I was watching the one from last week. Don't quote me on that. It might have been the one from the week before. And I fell asleep in the middle of it. I'll be honest, I don't think the show's that good anymore. Like, I'm starting to get really bored with it. This season particularly just isn't very interesting. But yeah, so I fell asleep in the middle. I never got back to it. And so I know that there's another episode from this week and I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I'll probably get to it, but that's the thing. Like, it's not like a show that I'm like on the edge of my seat to see the next episode. I'll get to it when I get to it. And that's not a good sign. I feel like the show has kind of fallen off. I think that the first like 1 to 2 seasons was great. Season 3 was just okay. And this season is kind of like shit. I don't really like it. Let's see. I received a $3 tip, my first contribution of the morning. This is from Bobby. You think in a way you might be lucky for having post-nasal drip. You talk all day and the nasal drip provides lubrication. That's not how it works. At all. That is not how post-nasal drip works. I don't really know if I want to tell you the ins and outs of post-nasal drip because it's pretty disgusting. I don't think most people want to hear it. But no, post-nasal drip is not providing me lubrication for my mouth so I can talk all day. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It basically is just an ongoing annoyance that helps you in no way whatsoever. It's just an ongoing feeling of, ugh. It's gunk in the wrong places where you just don't need it, and there's not much you can do about it. It depends on many different things, many different factors, like humidity, pollen levels, actual temperature levels, air quality. All those things affect my postnasal drip. So there's not that much that I can even do about it. And it's very annoying on a day when it's bad and it won't go away. So here I am having to clear my throat and yucky snorting to try. So I'm not sneezing or coughing all day. It's disgusting, But no, that's not how it works. But anyway, then he said, I don't know how you manage to stream 6 days a week. I'd be dying if I were you. Keep up the good work. All right, thank you very much. I mean, this has been my full-time job for, let's see, 7 straight years. was 2017 when I became a full-time streamer. So yeah, I've been doing full-time streaming for 7 years now. Pretty insane. Yeah, I know. Cobbler Gobbler says, crazy you have to deal with that, but you're not a smoker. Yeah, it sucks. It might very well be. It's part hereditary because my dad has it too, and he's not a smoker. But I grew up in a house where my mom chain smoked when I was a kid. So the secondhand smoke screwed with my whole body physiology. It really did. Like, I know that I have some lung problems because, like, for example, if it's very cold outside and I breathe in, all of a sudden I lose my breath. I can't even inhale. I can't breathe. I get big shortness of breath for no good reason. So probably my lungs are messed up. They're probably weak because I had smoke in my lungs all the time when I was a baby and a kid. And that's life. You got to live with that, right? No one really talked about secondhand smoke in the 1980s, quite frankly. It wasn't even a big deal until the 90s when they started saying smoking was horrible for you. Don't do it. And then the 2000s when it became taboo to smoke. No, I don't put hair products in my hair. I just wash my hair with shampoo and conditioner. That's it. Nothing else. I remember 90s, they had all the PSAs on TV. Drugs and alcohol are all the same. They make soup out of your brain. I don't want to be pea soup. I don't want to be potato. I said, I don't want to be chicken soup. I just want to be me. There's a PSA from the 90s. That was a PSA. I remember. It stuck in my head forever. And the anti-smoking ones were all over TV when you're a kid. Don't be a loser. Don't smoke. Smoking's for losers. And then it's like, smoking gives you cancer. And then you would ask my mom, she was like, when I was growing up, everyone said smoking was good. Everyone said smoking was good for your health. So that's why we all got into it. Jeez. Yes, of course I remember Dare. Of course. Now everyone vape. Yeah, vaping is the new thing. Although there's absolutely no scientific proof that vaping is better or for you. So people just do it and oh, well, it's not smoking, and we were told smoking's the specific thing to do. How about you just don't put anything, no foreign object into your lungs? No gases, vapors. How about you just stop doing that, right? Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right, I think we're done for today. Good podcast. Thank you, guys. Tomorrow, obviously, I'll be keeping you updated on what happened with Elden Ring and our chill stream of Stardew and any other kind of stuff going on, right? Any other kind of news or updates. But in the meantime, thank you guys very much. I hope that you enjoyed the show. And thanks for a chill podcast. Be safe. Have a fun. Stay cool. Right now, we are in the midst of a heat wave. Today in Washington, I think it's going to be 90 degrees. And we actually have 90-degree... Yeah, we have 90-degree weather for the next 3 days. So we are in the midst of a ginormous summer heat wave here. Our air quality is terrible. We were actually told yesterday we had the second worst air quality in the entire United States, only second to LA. Los Angeles, that is. So be careful. Stay cool. All right, guys? Everyone's sitting in here in the heat. It ain't cool. So thanks for chilling. Stay chill. And I will see you tomorrow.